Well, this Wednesday, after 22 months, finally my magistrates contest case is scheduled to go ahead. To put you in the picture of this, most magistrates cases last 6 months, fairly complex ones. Since they come before the court last perhaps 12 to 14 and very strange and complex cases. This case, which of course is a politically contrived case, in which first they brought forward laughable hate preacher charges, in which nobody had ever been charged in the United Kingdom with this before, but they used it against peaceful Union flag protesters, and then had to withdraw that in disgrace after they embarrassed themselves. Well, I don't even think they are embarrassed, actually. They're politically compromised. They don't actually even have any shame. Some of the stuff that they do would make Joseph Stalin blush, but anyhow. But my case has been going on for 22 months. They have managed to drag this out. 22 months they have kept me on bail for what is effectively 4 counts of jaywalking and 1 of obstructing traffic. Now, nobody in the history of the United Kingdom, nobody in the history of this country has ever spent a single day in jail on the basis of taking part in an unnotified public procession. Nobody has ever went to jail for that. I spent 6 weeks on remand, treated by the PSNI, who got up and objected to bail as if I was Osama bin Laden, as if I was some kind of terrorist. But of course we know how they deal with terrorists, because on the day before my court case, the PSNI stood up and were more than happy to agree to bail for Sean the Surgeon Hughes, an IRA terrorist responsible for murdering, bombing and killing countless Ulster Protestants and members of the security forces in the border areas. And the police had no hesitation in giving this man bail. But when it came to me, well, they objected in case I appeared on the Nolan show. This is the type of nonsense that we've had from the PSNI. And when they had to finally back down some of these stupid hate preacher charges. Now, what's interesting, the evidence threshold was met at the start, but then when it came closer to actually having to justify what the evidence was, suddenly the evidence threshold wasn't met and the charges were just dropped. Well, I don't buy that. There was never any evidence to start with, so therefore the logical conclusion is you just made that up, used it for as long as you could, and then when eventually you were going to have to produce to the court, well, what is this evidence? You couldn't produce any. And the interview tapes prove that. You never had any. So you just withdraw the charges. It is a gross abuse of lawful process. But back to the PSNI, they objected to my bail. And then, aided and abetted by the PSNI, they tried, when I did get bail, they tried to keep me on bail, the most stringent bail conditions that have ever been put on any individual for a non-violent offence. There's never been a strict bail conditions issued for a magistrate's offence in Northern Ireland. Go and check that out. Never has there been stricter bail conditions. The only people in the United Kingdom is Willie Fraser, Jim Dowson, and an Islamist hate preacher who I can't even remember his name in England, who was put on the bail conditions almost as strict. Nobody else has had these conditions. And what am I charged with? 4 counts of effective jaywalking. They call it an unnotified procession. It's jaywalking and obstructing traffic. Now, when they eventually had to back down from the hate preacher charges, the judge, even at that stage, the judge had to say, hold on, some of these bail conditions about talking to the media, about engaging in social media, have to go. And do you know what the PSNI actually said? They actually said this, and you can get the court papers and read it. They objected to me being allowed to use social media because I had too many followers. They actually said that in a courtroom. This is the level of nonsense that we get down to, and them trying to shut me up. This is how desperate they are to keep me quiet. Now, when you take what they've done for the last 22 months, it's entirely logical to think that come Wednesday, what they will want to do, and they've put themselves in this situation, because now, if they drop the charges, there's no evidence there anyway. It's a nonsense. So if they drop the charges now, they're going to look awfully bad, and it's going to be very clear to everybody that there never was any evidence. So they forced themselves in a situation where they're going to have to push on. They might come and offer some kind of deal. There'll not be no deals because I won't be doing a deal with the devil. I would go to hell and back before I'll do any sort of deal with the PPS and the PSNI. So that'll not be happening. So they're in a position where it's almost lose-lose for them. They're going to have to go ahead with this. They're going to have to put me on the witness stand. Now, what they think is that they are going to usher me through a couple of questions they want me to ask, and then set me down again, and that's it all over, and they can push on. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. Because when you put me on that witness stand, I take an oath before God to tell the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So therefore, I'm going to have to tell the judge and the whole courtroom about everything to do with the flag protests. Everything related to these charges, everything to do with the weekly walks, I'm going to have to tell the judge, and that is going to be very uncomfortable for the PSNI. It is going to be extremely uncomfortable for one particular ACC, one particular chief inspector, and one particular superintendent in Belfast. So, be my guest. Go ahead, because they pushed this and they pushed this, and now they're going to open Pandora's box. And believe you me, it's going to be opened. So don't be thinking for 1 minute that I'm going to get up there, answer a few questions like a good little boy, and then sit down again. No, no. If you want the whole story told, then the whole story is going to be told. Because you see, the judiciary and the great British institution of the judicial system is there to protect private citizens from abuses of process, such as those carried out by the PPS and the PSNI against me. So therefore, I have a right to take to the stand and to tell the judge my side of the story, my whole side of the story, not the side of the story that the PPS and the PSNI want to be told, not the side of the story that they want to have covered up so as not to cause them any embarrassment, so as not to cause any political ramifications. No, no, no. I have a right to stand up and tell the whole truth, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how politically unpopular it's going to be. I have an obligation when I take that oath to God to stand up and tell him. So I can only hope that the judiciary do their job and act as an independent mediator between myself and these people in the PSNI and the PPS who have contrived and who have pushed on this ridiculous political agenda against me for 22 months. And I can hope that the judiciary are not part of this cabal, and that they do stand independent, and they don't believe every word that comes out of the mouth of the PSNI, because as we have seen, in many cases, not just political cases, even cases as recent as Omar, where the PSNI were found to have told numerous lies, to have fabricated evidence against people. Now, it's absolutely no shock to me, because I've seen it for 22 months that they tell lies and they fabricate evidence. But some judges and some members of the judiciary almost seem to think that the PSNI and the PPS are infallible, that they don't tell lies, that they wouldn't manipulate evidence, that they wouldn't make up evidence just to try and get somebody a conviction. Especially in this case, you know, if a judge believes, after hearing it all they've heard for the last 22 months and all the lies it's been told, which will be exposed on Wednesday, if any judge chooses to believe that nonsense, quite honestly, they shouldn't be in the judiciary, because a blind man on a galloping horse could see what this is all about. But I look forward to Wednesday. I look forward to my opportunity to defend myself and to tell the truth. And the truth will be told, and the truth will come out. And no matter how hard they try and keep it down, no matter how hard they try and suppress it, it just doesn't matter, because the truth is going to come out, and it's going to be very, very uncomfortable for some people in some very high positions. But I look forward.